Hello, so welcome. So in this video, I'm going to do a very quick overview of every country in Southeast Asia, give a bit my thoughts and opinions, give you some few facts and things that come to mind, some experience I've had in some of these countries. So let's go. So first country we're going to talk about is Cambodia. Another disclaimer, I might do a more in-depth video in the future about this, about each country potentially and the region in general, what I like, why I think it's probably the best place in the world. So yeah. Cambodia, as everyone knows, is a very beloved country. A lot of people like it. It is often an important part of what a lot of people would go to when they go to Southeast Asia. They will hit up your regular places. They'll go to Thailand, they'll go to Bali, they might go to Kuala Lumpur, Saigon in Vietnam, and usually a part of that they will go to Cambodia. They'll go to Siem Reap, they'll go to Phnom Penh. So yeah, it's a very important part of that sort of tourist trail. Obviously, it's not as popular as Thailand, as Bali. Um, I don't know. Is it more as popular as Vietnam? I don't know. I think Vietnam is very popular now. Um, although but Thailand seems to be so much more geared towards tourism. And same with Bali, I guess, is very tourism orientated. The other countries in Southeast Asia are not as much tourism operated. Tourism is not the main part of their economy and GDP. Vietnam is more looking at manufacturing and things like that. But let's get back to Cambodia anyway. So yeah, just to sort of set the scene, that is an important part of that. It was part of French Indochina. Um, they obviously have a dark history that you've got to look at recently, and maybe look into it. It is quite interesting if you don't know anything about it. Most of these countries, like I say, I've been to. I went to Cambodia as a young boy. I was about 12, 13 on a family holiday. We went to Cambodia, Thailand. Um, those are the only countries in Southeast Asia, but we went to Japan, China, and stuff as well. So I'll do another about East Asian countries as well. But Southeast Asia, I think because I had that time as a 12, 13-year old boy. So then when I returned, probably I think I was 23 when I went to get back again to Thailand and Vietnam. So it felt like it was a place that was sort of familiar to me. I can't remember how long I stayed there, when a few weeks maybe. So yeah, it had a lasting impact on me. Southeast Asia and Asia in general was always somewhere I wanted to go back to. But yeah, Cambodia, very good country. I'm gonna try and not ramble too much just about each country and just bombard you with facts or just say every little thing. Some of the impressions, obviously, it's similar in a lot of ways. It's like the little brother to Thailand and Vietnam. It used to be a bigger country, back in the day. They gave most of their land away to Vietnam in the south. I think they did lose some land to Thailand and stuff. They had some pretty big battles and stuff with Thailand back in the day when the Khmer Empire, in the days of Angkor Wat. It was quite an important place, but now kind of a bit of a backwater. It wasn't the most important part of Indochina. Um, Back in the day, they have a royal family, like in Thailand, so they're a monarchy. Um, yeah, they have an interesting language. It's related to Vietnamese. Um, the same language family, but they're pretty different. But I think, from what I know, I think it's the closest thing. I know a little bit of Vietnamese. Um, from what I've seen, some of it also similar to Thai. I've noticed the numbers like Samsip. Some of the numbers are similar, like 1, 2, 3 are completely different. They're like B dollar. B is like two or I can't remember exactly. It doesn't matter. But some of the language sounds a bit like Thai. Some of it's closer to Vietnamese. It's same language family as that. It's the I want to say Austronesian, but it's not Austronesian. It is the Austroasiatic languages, so the South Asian languages, basically, which the mainly two biggest languages from that group are Vietnamese. You have nearly 100 million people speak it, 90 million people speak it. And how many people speak Khmer? Probably, gosh, this is a good question. I think they about 16 million. 17 million population, and the vast majority of them will speak Khmer. Um, Obviously, they're Buddhist as well, which is cool. They have a lot of temples and stuff. So, yeah, it's a cool country. Their food is not as famous as Vietnam and Thailand. But yeah, it's a good country worth going to. It has some cool towns, like I say, Siem Reap. Kampot is somewhere I'd like to go to, but I just remember going to Siem Reap. So next time I'm in Vietnam or Thailand, I'll have to pop into little Kampuchea and say hello because I hear a lot of good things and I can remember bits of it, but like I say, my memory's more fresh of obviously places I've been in the last few years, like Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, and stuff. So yeah, so there we go. That's the first country, Kampuchea. Next country we're going to talk about is Thailand, the big daddy. Is it the big daddy? It's one of the big daddies in Southeast Asia. I think their population. I don't need to give you the population of every country, but just to say if I'm saying it's big daddy, think after Indonesia and Vietnam, it's probably the next biggest. What are they? Nearly 70 million, 68 million, 69 million population, I believe, for Thailand. So quite a big country. They're also a monarchy, like I said. Um, Interesting country. It was never colonized, but heavily influenced by Western countries in a way to not become, they were worried about becoming a part of, either British Empire or the French Empire. You had the French on one side, and French Indochina in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. And then on the other side, you had in Burma, British India. You had the British. You had us, my country, a great country. But we did have a lot of influence on, King and King of Siam. So they were very pro-Western, and I think that's what kept them from actually becoming another colony. You could say they're basically being colonized in a way, like the amount of foreigners that go there. I think that's part of maybe why, because they were so open to it. Other countries were less open to the Western and foreign influence and people going there. I mean, those other countries, they were colonized by France and Britain and stuff, but the what was left behind is not that much. Yeah. So yeah, so an interesting country in the fact of that, but yeah, nowadays it has a lot of good and bad stereotypes. People are very friendly. I like um obviously great food, great. You have beaches, you have big cities. Of course, a massive part of their economy is tourism. So tourism is very important to Thailand. So I think Bangkok is the most visited country in the world. They get so many millions that go there every year. Is it like 100 million or something? The numbers don't matter. I'm not. This is just to talk about in general. Yeah, but these are just some anecdotes. So yeah, Thailand I really like. It's a very good country, very good, very friendly. I like the Thai accent when they speak English. They have a something I didn't say about. I will talk about other countries. I can't remember in Cambodia. I can't remember if they have a great level of English. I've been to more recently to Thailand, English level is okay. I think because they get so much tourism, even people on the street might be able to speak a tiny bit. Even obviously, if you go out in the countryside somewhere, they're not going to speak, but they're still willing to help. Very friendly, open people. They're Buddhists, vast majority, apart from in the south, where there's you got some Muslims in the south. Patani. Some are very interesting places like that. Hatyai, places like that. I would love to go to. I've mainly only been Bangkok and some other places, but yeah, a very good place. I would recommend going there. Too many farang for my liking. That's why it won't be the favorite, but it is a very good choice. It's a good place to go first. If you want to go somewhere in Asia or Southeast Asia, go there first. It's very easy. If you want to just be in the tourist trap, if you want to just have a nice, easy time, obviously there's scams and all this crap. It's because if you go to some places there isn't many foreigners, there's not going to be very many scams for tourists. Um, but it is very popular for that reason. So Thailand, very good. Uh, yeah, I don't need to talk about the negative stereotypes of it, but you want to go there for that. You want to go there for not sex tourism, but whatever. You want to go there for partying and all that kind of stuff as well. That's there. So yeah, good, the bad, and the ugly. It has a lot of good places where if you don't want to do the partying or other things, you can avoid it. So it doesn't matter. And yeah, so there you go. That's time. And next country we're going to talk about the greatest of them all. I know I'll hold judgment for the end, and you tell me which country you think is my favorite or which is your favorite as well at the end once we've done every country. So next we're going to talk about Vietnam, the motherland. Uh, I wish, but yeah, Vietnam has a special place in my heart as the country I've spent the longest time in Southeast Asia, accumulatively more than a year. I stayed there for, when was it, 2018, 19? I spent nearly 1 year, probably 10 months or something like that. And then I've been back for weeks and weeks. And, I can see myself if I was ever going to have a base, it would have to be it would have to be not Thailand. It would have to be Vietnam. I think would be the base for me for traveling around Southeast Asia. It's a good place. You want to jump into Thailand, flight from Bangkok into whether you go to Saigon, Da Nang, Hanoi. It's only like an hour and a half, so that's really close. You got Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur is what 2 hours or something. Can't remember how long it was to Bali. I flew from there, Saigon to Bali. Was that maybe 3 hours or something? So you can go pretty much anywhere you want. You got Manila, Philippines is probably similar time, 2 3 hours. I can't remember. Go to East Asia, go to Korea, go to Japan if you want. It's like a little bit far to there, but it's like 5 6 hours away. Can go there. So it's all good in terms of that. Let's talk more specific about Vietnam, why it is special. And obviously, a big part of that is the people. Again, the people are very good. And I see a lot of negativity about Vietnam. Everyone seems to glaze, everyone seems to talk how much they love Thailand and all this stuff. And there's a lot of good things to like there. And I just said good things about it, and that I'm not going to put people off from going there. And I don't think I can just from one video. There's so many videos of people. There's a very strong culture of people that really love Thailand, and it's going to be hard for people, if something changed there, to then go, oh, I need to go to Vietnam instead. I need to go to Malaysia instead. I need to go to Indonesia instead. And there's still enough people that really like. I think Vietnam is it should be the next. It should be the one that's after Thailand. It should be Vietnam or probably Bali. I don't know which is the next most popular country in Southeast Asia for people to visit and for tourism and stuff. But what makes it what makes it the most important, not the most important, but what makes it special is there's a specific there's a feeling there. I think this is something a lot of people I keep talking about Thailand, but I think it's a lot of what people think there. They like the atmosphere, they like the ambience. Some people don't like that in Vietnam. They think it's too crazy. Um, Especially in some of the cities. And I agree. You go to Saigon, you go to Hanoi in the center parts with all the bikes. Admittedly, I was in the center of Saigon. I wasn't totally on it because most of the time I've spent in Vietnam has been in Da Nang. It's quite a big city, to be fair, but it's next to the beach, so it's a little bit chiller, but it's still got some of the hustle and bustle. I mean, I think that's what I like. I like if you like cities with beaches and things. I mean, Da Nang is the most popular one. That's the most popular city basically because you got Hanoi, Saigon, two biggest cities. Also probably most hustle and bustle. Um, there. So some people are put off by that. Vietnam, another reason maybe why it's not as popular as Thailand, it is a different culture essentially. There's a lot of similarities in a lot of ways, I'd say. Um, but the culture is different. It's maybe not as friendly, as openly friendly. I still think it's a very friendly country. There is supposedly a north-south divide on that, where if in the north it's supposed to not be as friendly, in the south and in central Vietnam, I've always thought it's very friendly. And yeah, English level is very low in Vietnam. Let's just be honest. Majority places it's very low. I was impressed as someone who's hardly ever been to Saigon. The English level is actually kind of good there, and I think it's the same in Hanoi. The English level is actually all right in certain places, and other people will be like, no, no, it's really bad, whatever. But in Da Nang and smaller towns, you're gonna have almost none. So just learn some basic words. This is what I say. Any country you go to, learn some basic words. It'll make your trip a lot easier. People are more happy and more open when at least you speak some words. Like you say, I want some for mot kai for whatever. I'm not that great, but I just need to learn. You just need to learn the names for the foods and say mot kai, mot li, 1 cup of something, mot li cha, mot li cafe suada. One coffee, iced coffee, please. Something like that. You just need to learn the basic things and then ask how much it is, bao nhiêu tiền, something like that, and learn the numbers and stuff. So just learn the very basics, and you'll be able to get what you need done. I can go to the bakery, I can go into a shop, I can ask how much the thing is, ask what is this, things like that. Obviously, anything more complicated, no way. I'm not good at enough for that. But yeah, what makes it special? Some of these things that put people off. I like the karaoke. It's something very um common in Southeast Asia. In Vietnam, you walk around the streets, you'll hear someone screaming karaoke, top of their lungs, singing some old Vietnamese song, singing Em Gai Min Tai or whatever, some song like that. I kind of love it. Obviously, I wouldn't want wherever I'm staying my neighbor to be singing that all the time. But yeah, this is real special. The street food, probably best in the world. You have so much different kinds of food. You have great food there. Um, yeah, I can't recommend it enough, but I would say the difficulty is avoid the super touristy trap things. I think it's also a place if you're unfamiliar with it, if you know nothing, it can be more difficult. I think in Thailand maybe it's a bit more accessible. and you can find what you need easier. The English level's a bit better. It's a bit more open. I still think Vietnam is very accepting in a lot of ways of tourists, but you just have to be careful in terms of, people in Vietnam, the culture is different. So you, in certain places, most places, people will be honest and charge you the same price. But there's a language barrier. There's all sorts of other things that. This is why I feel like I see a lot of negativity about Vietnam, but there's a lot of lovely things, a lot of lovely people, friendly people. So don't ever be put off by that, and just avoid tourist traps basically, because if there's any of these bad things, they're always going to be centered in that. So yeah, I may make another video about Vietnam, but I think these are just some of the things I think of. Okay, next country. I think I rambled too much about Vietnam. I'm gonna have to cut that down a bit. Next country, we'll talk about Indonesia. A lot of love for Indonesia. They are super friendly people as well. I'm not gonna say any of the countries have unfriendly people. Um, but Indonesians, very good people. Interesting country, there's a lot outside of Bali, which I would love to explore. Next time I go, I have to go somewhere other than Bali, but just because it's a place that's easy to travel to. Next time I have to hit up Jakarta and go to Sumatra and some Kalimantan, maybe some different places, Um, yeah, if you like Malaysia, you're gonna love Indonesia. That's all I can say. These countries are very similar. Um, they have a lot of fights over saying who invented rendang, who invented what was the other one? Was it rendang? I feel like everything in Malaysia or Indonesia, one of them's gonna claim that it's whatever food they invented. Like, was it nasi lemak? Nasi lemak? Or was that Singapore and Malaysia fighting over that? Anyway, they like to fight over which kind of food is theirs. Indonesia, a very good country. Um, nice people. Most of them are Muslim. There is diversity in the country in terms of religion as well. There's Christians, there's Hindus in Bali. I think they have Buddhists even, but there can't be very many of them kicking about. But yeah, cool country. Um, very nice food on that topic. You got your nasi goreng, nasi lemak, nasi lemak. That's more Malaysia, and me soto ayam, um, ayam goreng. You've got a lot of different kind of stuff. Your satay, obviously satay. That's a big one. And maybe that's the one I was thinking of. A lot of people claiming that they invented satay, but I'm pretty sure it's from Indonesia. Indonesia is a very big country as well, so they have a lot of, I'd say, diversity in the religion. There's a lot of different groups, ethnic groups, different languages. You got Javanese. It's not just Bahasa Indonesia. But if you go in there, learn a bit of Bahasa, learn a bit of Indonesian. You're not gonna have enough time to learn Bahasa Bali and Bahasa Jawa, or whatever it is. Yeah, so they all have like a slightly different language there. But if you learn a bit of Indonesian, Malay, you can sort of get by. You just have to learn a bit of your jalan-jalans and salamat pagi, salamat sore, salamat. I've forgotten it now. I remember I asked some dude in Bali what other words I was supposed to be. Satu hari, well, you learn it's on your numbers. Berapa ini, like how much is this or something. Yeah, it's a good country, very friendly people. Again, it is a very popular place, but I feel most of the tourists only ever go to Bali and maybe Jakarta, and sometimes they might go to Borneo or somewhere to go see orangutans and stuff like that. Borneo or Sumatra, where is it? Bukit Lawanga, somewhere like that. I've watched a lot of videos about Indonesia as well, so there's a lot to see there. We like Indonesia. Um, yeah, the language I like. It's cool language. You can learn, pick up some basics quite easy. It's quite accessible. People are very helpful there. They'll help you. The English level is not bad. I don't need to speak about this for every country. The English level I feel is okay because their language is a fairly. It's not because their language is easy, but they had some Dutch influence from the Dutch when they were there, and bit of English influence on the language. So yeah, Indonesia, very good country. Like I said, this is just a basic overview of the countries. We like Indonesia, very strong, big country. Uh, yeah, we like that. Next, I was gonna say the big boy, but Malaysia's not really a big boy. It's a kind of a big boy. It's kind of a big player and economically in Southeast Asia. It's one of the fairly strong economies. Obviously, not as strong as its little neighbor in Singapore, but equally as important, I would say. Singapore is just like this one city. Um, so yeah, Malaysia. We like Malaysia, a very strong country, was part of the British Empire. Very good English there. This is why I bring it up. Good English. I like their accent as well. Sounds very friendly and endearing. Good food there, and you've got different. I was gonna say different races, different ethnicities. I guess they are different races as well. You got Chinese, Malays, Indians. So you've got all that really good food there, and it's basically like you've got it all all right there. And then there's crossover. The Chinese food is a bit Malaysianized, Southeast Asianized, and stuff. And there's a lot of crisscrossing of those cultures and things. And you've got what's the one? Nasi Kanda. That's like the Indian thing, isn't it? That's a very famous thing. Sadly, I didn't try that, and I've been to Malacca and Kuala Lumpur some years ago, about 5 years ago, I think. I know 5 years ago, but I did last time I was in Thailand, Vietnam. I did. I think I only had one night in Kuala Lumpur, but it was nice to go back and just remind me why I like it there. And a lot of people, I feel like they also talk down Malaysia a little bit. They don't give it enough love. So, people out there, please give Malaysia a bit of love, bit more love. I feel like it's very underrated. There's some people I see now are starting to say more positive things about Malaysia, but I don't know whether it's this Thailand crew that they don't seem to be able to get over Thailand. Like they can't accept that other places exist. They're like only like Thailand, maybe Bali, and maybe one city in Vietnam, or they might like Phnom Penh. Nowhere else. They might just, if they have to stop over in Kuala Lumpur, they'll be like, what I'm gonna do when I'm in Kuala Lumpur? I'm gonna go to a Thai restaurant or something. It'll be that kind of person. They're not gonna appreciate Malaysia and the culture there and the different cultures they have as well, which is a benefit, but not to poo poo on the Malay culture as well. It's very good. Malays, they're Muslim, quite similar to the Indonesians. The culture is very similar to there. From they've got linguistic, they've got historical ties to each other. Um, yeah, very similar sort of people and culture and countries there. They're from Indonesia. I don't think they have very many. I think they did have some Indians. They have Chinese in Indonesia as well, but they make up a smaller percentage of the population. But it's still one of the top achieving groups in those countries. Nonetheless, same as in Thailand, the Chinese Thais are, I think, the richest. Most of the richest people in Thailand are Chinese in origin. So Chinese have a very strong influence in Southeast Asia, and I think as someone who was very, a lot of people I feel like they really love Japan. Not that I was like this guy was like, I'm not really into Japan. I like China more, but A lot of the Chinese cultural things were the things that I liked when I was younger. That I thought were cool, dragons and just basic stuff, like nothing, nothing too deep. I just like the aesthetics of the Chinese buildings and stuff, and you can find all that in Malaysia as well. There's a nice mix there. It's a real good good country. We like them. Again, I think most of these countries we're going to talk about are cheap as well. But Malaysia, I feel like you get good standard of things, good standard of English, good standard of living, um, all this stuff, and it's still a good price. You go for a meal there, you go shopping, go to market, go to pasar malam. You're gonna have hell of a lot of variety of food, but it's gonna be really cheap and delicious. So yeah, really good country. I like Malaysia a lot. I feel give it a bit more love out there. Someone go try it. If you've just been to Thailand, maybe give Malaysia a try. Maybe it's because it's not so much about the party and all this kind of stuff. Alcohol is expensive there, though, I think. I can remember drink being expensive, so I don't even think I bothered drinking any beer there. So, yeah, if you're gonna drink, go to Vietnam. Go to Vietnam, super cheap. Beer costs like even in a restaurant, you go to a local seafood restaurant, like yeah, you don't go to the most fancy place, but go to a local restaurant, you can get beer for like 30 pence, 50 pence, 50 cents, you know. You can get a little can for like nothing, less than a pound, less than a dollar. So, yeah, I wouldn't say waste your time if you want just to drink and stuff. Maybe don't go to Malaysia, but yeah, we like Malaysia. Very good boys. Next, we have, after Malaysia, the next obvious choice to talk about is Singapore. Yeah, we like Singapore. I've never been to Singapore, but I had the choice to go to Singapore or go to Malaysia, and I looked at how much the hotels cost, and I was like, no, Singapore used to be part of Malaysia, so why would I pay more than twice the price, three times, 2.5 times the price, or whatever it is for the hotel? So yeah, when I'm rich, then we'll go to Singapore, and then we can say, okay, is Singapore better than Malaysia? Or yeah, obviously for working and economy wise, it's a lot better. It's basically like if all Malaysia was 90% or 80% Chinese version of Malaysia, basically. So that's why it split up off from Malaysia. They didn't want to be ruled by Muslim Malays at the time. Was it back in the 60s? Um, Malaysia became independent. Uh, the whole of, you had British Malaya, and then it became independent Malaysia around that time after World War Two. Um, and then eventually Singapore split off. I think they just had not 50 years. It must be 60 odd years. It might even be kind of be 70 years. How long has Singapore been around? Yeah, it's only 60 years old. 59 years to be exact. They became independent from Malaysia in August 1965. Wow, okay. Yeah, I knew it was the 60s sometimes. So, yeah, they only got independence from Malaysia at that time. So, but pretty amazing that it went from, they weren't rich at that time. It wasn't a rich city, but they looked kind of what happened to Hong Kong, say, for example. Um, Hong Kong wasn't a rich city, and then it became super rich as well uh, under British influence, under being part of the British. At the time, it was Hong Kong, say, was like a little fishing village, and then there was only a few thousand people lived there, and then it became super rich. So Singapore, in the space of less than 60 years, in 50 years, 40 years, became super rich and super modern. And it came in a little bit as a at a price. Some people say the government is a bit strict and things there. They have quite a lot of strict laws, but it works. And was it Lee Kuan Yew was the prime minister there? He was educated in. He went to Oxford or Cambridge. Lee Kuan Yew. He was the former prime minister. He only died in 2015, but he was a very inspirational man. I think his son is now the prime minister as well. I think senior minister anyway, Lee Hsien Long. Anyway, he looks quite a lot like him. Yeah, but this he was a very inspirational guy. Some people say he's a bit extreme, but he took Singapore from not being the most important place, not being the richest place, to being it one of the models for Southeast Asia. All those other countries would look at it and be like, "Wow, this is how you do it." He looked a bit. I might be embellishing saying that he looked at Hong Kong as an example, but that's a good example for them to look at and be like, this is a bit how we need to do like that. Obviously, they went a completely different way too, but they went for the English connection, the British connection. They instead of everyone just speaking Chinese, he did implement a lot towards people mainly because there's so many Chinese dialects. He said, okay, if you're Chinese, you need to learn Mandarin, but then everyone needs to learn English. So then the Malays and the Indians, everyone Chinese can all speak together and things like that. So a bit of racial unity between all the different groups and things like that. So he really, yeah, he's the founding father of modern Singapore, and he transformed it into a highly developed country during his tenure. There you go. Yeah, you've got to mention him in that. He built, it's a very modern, clean sort of country, city state, I guess. They have a good MRT system, obviously good food as well there. You have all these hawker stalls. I really like that. I like that. I like their English accent. I like their hawker stall, hawker culture they've got with the street, with the food and everything like that. So I think the way how they have it very organized there is very good. I think it'd maybe be a bit suffocating. I like kind of the organized chaos in places like Vietnam where there's not so much rules and stuff like that. Yeah, Singapore is a very good country. Um, Impressive how they transformed the country in that short span of time into an economic power, a powerhouse there in Southeast Asia. Next country, I'm getting a little bit sick of this now. Next country is the Philippines. Um, what can you say about the Philippines that hasn't already been sent? I need to make some of these a bit quicker, so sorry if I don't go into too much detail or know too much about Philippines. Very interesting country, kind of the most westernized of all Southeast Asia. Funny enough, I'm saying that, and you've got places like Singapore that obviously is quite westernized, but it seems very Chinese though in Singapore. Though. Whereas Philippines, I feel like obviously they're Asian, they're very Asian. They have a lot of Asian culture there still. They have some Chinese influence as well, fun enough, as all Southeast Asian countries have. Um, but yeah, you know, the British, the Spanish were there, which is why it's named the Philippines after King Philip in Spain. Um, and then obviously you had the Americans came in as well there um, after that as well. So the Americans, so that's why a lot of them sort of sound like they have an American accent, and that's why they like basketball and they. So some of, even though Philippines I like a lot, some of the things I find it kind of weird that it's so Americanized. It just seems wrong. And then obviously a lot of Filipinos go and move to America or Canada and stuff, so they have a lot of connections abroad, and they're kind of famous for that, for going around the world and becoming nurses or maids or um. Not that I'm not saying that the maids thing. I don't feel bad about saying that. That's literally nurses. They're famous for being nurses in this country. There's a lot of Filipino nurses. Um, that's become a thing. Um, but no, lovely people, very friendly people. I kind of like their accent as well. It's like, hello, sir. hello, sir, and things like that. I can't do it very well. I can maybe do a better impression of a Filipino, but I don't want to be offensive. I think they're good natured people anyway. They wouldn't find it offensive. They're Christian. That's one win. One win for one country that's Christian in Southeast Asia. So that's one good thing for them. They're Catholic as well. They like Christmas. They have nice food as well. Um, I've never been to the Philippines. I would like to go there. Yeah, I just find it as strange how westernized it seems to be. Obviously, it's pretty Filipino, but I feel like they lost. I mean, the fact they all have like Spanish, most of them have Spanish names and stuff, and then yeah, the fact they like basketball and stuff, I think that ruins it a bit for me. If they like football and stuff, I would like the Philippines more. But be like the rest of the world instead of trying to suck up to America and stuff. But nothing wrong with America. I like America, but certain Americanisms as a Brit kind of hurt me, So Philippines, we love you, but stop sucking up to America. Stop trying to be the little America in Asia. Nobody wants that, but you know, it's up to them. They can rule their country how they want. Right, we're almost at the end. We've only got who we got left? Laos, Burma. I'm still gonna call it Burma. Come fight me. And Brunei. So these ones shouldn't take too long. Laos, basically, it's like Thailand. There you go. Like Isan, isn't it? Laos people speak like Isan. I think they speak the same language. Isan people in Thailand. So yeah, they're Buddhist, part of French Indochina. Have nice food from what I've heard. Never been to Laos, and it's pronounced Lao, not Laos. So even in English, if it's supposed to be, but they say Lao. So I just say Lao. Lao is better because that's what it is. So yeah, it's not the most exciting country. I think again it's even worse off than Cambodia in some ways because they don't even have the sea. So I think that's what holds it back. So for me, not having the sea and stuff kind of kills the country. This is why it's nowhere near as popular as any of these other places. You've just had a scandal as well with Laos. Some young girls drank some dodgy, I was going to say dodgy whiskey, but some dodgy spirit. Then I think 3 or 4 of them have died. So that's sad. That's going to hurt the tourism there. But if you are going there, maybe don't drink any spirits. Drink beer Lao or something. I presume that's from Laos. Yeah, everyone says their capital city is really boring, Vientiane. Um, but a lot of people like going to Vang Vienne and Luang Prabang. That's probably the place I would want to go to. Luang Prabang, probably be it. They got temples, they got a river. Looks a bit like Thailand or Cambodia to me. Very similar sort of place. So yeah, not too much to say about Laos. I think nice country, kind of overlooked. Maybe deserves a bit more love, but yeah, that story's not going to help them in their tourism. So yeah, that's Lao. Lao for it. Goodbye. Next one, we'll talk about Brunei. Bit of a controversial one here, isn't it, guys? Because really strictly Muslim. They're strictly Muslim, not like those other countries that are a bit less strictly Muslim. I mean, that's a weird way to phrase it. They're more hardcore Muslim, let's say, and I think they had a bit of a backlash when was it something that they made it illegal to be gay or something like that? I can't remember. It was something like that. That was the last time anyone ever talked about Brunei. Um, yeah, never been to Brunei. I'm not sure I'll ever go to Brunei. I wouldn't say don't go there. Maybe try it, but it's in Borneo. It's right in the middle there. You've got like Sarawak Kuching, and then you got God, what is that place in Malaysia? There's another place in Sabah. It's like in between there, and it's sort of in the middle of Borneo, um, in between that. So it's basically like Malaysia, but it's like a kingdom. It's like a sultanate, because Malaysia used to be all these little sultanates, and they still have the sultans in Malaysia, right? Uh, I don't think they have any power or anything like that. But yeah, basically, it's like one of those sultanates that was like, I'm my own country now, and or I'm still just going to be my own country instead of be part of Malaysia. So it's kind of like that. They just thought it's pretty small. It's a very small country. There's not very many people. Do they even have 1 million people? I think they might just have that. What's the name of their city? Bandar Seri Begawan, capital of Brunei. It's not a very big place. The videos I've seen of Brunei don't seem to show very much. Actually, they've got a bit. The little country there, yeah, 500,000 people, 452,000 people. That's the whole country. They're basically the only pictures you get of the capital is just some big mosque, the masjid, some white mosque there. They've got the masjid of something. Yeah, and they've got oil money. They speak Malay. They're very Muslim, and they've got a lot of oil. There you go. That's Brunei. If you have anything else I should know about Brunei, tell me. And then last but not least, like I said, I wasn't going to talk about East Timor, so last word is going to be Burma. And I'm still going to call it Burma because no one knows what Myanmar is. Okay? So why did you change your name? Maybe that's why you're having a war. No, it's a bit of a controversial one. I think it's strange of people traveling there and making videos there and being like, "Ooh, look, I'm in a war zone." I'm not sure it's a good idea to go there. I wouldn't recommend it at the moment. You can go to Yangon or Rangon. Again, they changed their name. That's enough reason. They were part of the British Empire. You had your man, Conan Arthur Blair, went there. He went there. He killed an elephant. There's a very good book called Burmese Days. I would I would check that out. So Burma's a cool country. Mandalay would be one of those places you'd want to go, but apparently that's near where they do a lot of fighting. They have different ethnic groups there. That's why they've got so much fighting. So there's the Burmese that speak Burmese, and then there's like Shan State that's a little bit different. That's one of the ones that's having a fight with them there, and they're a bit like Thai people, from what I understand. So yeah, Burma is a very interesting country. One day would like to go there just because I think it's sad what's happening there. The military have taken over and stuff. It's sad for the Burmese people. That's why I have a lot of Burmese people in Thailand. So I would like to try their food and stuff as well. That's supposed to be really good. I saw a video talking about that's going to be the next big thing. So hopefully things pick up for little old Burma. Very little old Burma. It's quite a big country as well. But yeah, again, often overlooked. Even before the war, I didn't see that many people talking about Burma. To be honest, I think people did go there though. So it was probably just about to become a popular place to go on holiday, and then it's gone. I think what the end conclusion is. I feel like we need more Southeast Asian countries. Let's not have less or have them be at war. Maybe you will have more countries if Burma breaks up and you have all this stuff happening. But yeah, they're very Buddhist and stuff as well. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is my thought on Southeast Asia. Which countries do you like? Are you a China file? Do you like China? That's one thing a lot of these people in Southeast Asia don't seem to like. I like Wo Ai Zhonghua, or Taiwan. Taiwan and China. I like all you guys. You're all good. Um, so that's totally irrelevant to what we're talking about. No. Which countries do you like in Southeast Asia? Do you like Thailand? Do you like Vietnam? Do you like? You want to be a bit different and say, you know what? I really like Brunei. I think it's time for Brunei or somewhere else to sort of hell, even East Timor. I'm gonna put my coins behind there. Nah, I think if you most people are gonna be like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, maybe Malaysia, Indonesia. There's a lot of people sort of backing them. You know, they want them to be the supreme leader of Southeast Asia. You know, it's a very strong part of the world. It's really coming up now. You know, Southeast Asia is hot at the moment. It's always hot. It's always very sweaty and sticky, but you know, it's a hot place at the moment. People like it. They want to invest. I'm not talking about investing in that. I'm just talking about, you know, they want to go there. They want to be a digital nomad in Bali, mate, with the boys, you know, with my Aussie boys, you know, with the burros. Yeah, so Southeast Asia is hot at the moment. We might make more videos just talking about Southeast Asia in general. What's going on, Southeast Asia, mate? Is there something happening? I think there is. There's always something happening. This is the beauty of it. You step outside in any Southeast Asian country, unless you're in Brunei or somewhere where there's no people. There's always something happening, you know. You walk outside, there's some food, there's someone selling stuff, there's someone carrying a massive ladder or carrying a box of bucket of fish or God knows what else. You know, it's all some crazy. You step outside in the Western country and there's like either no one on the street or there's people and they're just staring at their phone. And I sound like an old geezer, but that's not what I mean. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying there's just nothing happening. Everyone just stays inside, you know, doom scrolls. Whereas Southeast Asia, there seems to still be a joy of life. So let's think of that. Let's think of Southeast Asia. Let's all move there and start living life again. Okay? Peace out. Tommy G.